Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. It is raining in England in a stirring turn of events, and today we are the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers. Bald John Green and other John Green are back up front together. They're teammates. They're teammates in life and in love, and they are our forwards today. We also have one size fits all back in the back playing center back for us, and really, the whole team's back together, essentially. Nobody's hurt anymore. It's lovely. Everything is beautiful. I want to tell you today about how I almost became a minister, and then I didn't. How I dropped out of the University of Chicago Divinity School before actually ever attending the University of Chicago Divinity School. So, many of you know that I worked as a chaplain at a children's hospital for many years. Just kidding. It was for 3 months. I worked as a chaplain at a children's hospital for about 5 months in 2000 when I was 22 years old. That was part of my what is called the discernment process in most Protestant denominations. I'm Episcopalian, but this is the same for like Methodists and Lutherans. All your sort of like standard Protestant denominations, boring church. There's this process called discernment where like somebody figures out if they want to become a minister, and then part of the process of actually getting ordained is that you have to spend a certain number of hours working. It's called clinical pastoral education. You have to spend a certain number of hours working as a chaplain at a jail or a hospital, or occasionally an airport. Airport chaplaincy is the best, except for when there's the airplane crash. Then it sucks. So I did not get a job at an airport or a jail. I got a job at a children's hospital. That's really it's really the only place I wanted to go. I thought it would be. I thought it would feel like important work and really valuable, and it did. But it was extremely difficult. As you can imagine, because a lot of sad things happen in children's hospitals, and a lot of good kids get sick and die who don't deserve to get sick and die, and that begs a lot of theological questions, but also just it's just painful, just personally painful. And I really admire the people, the social workers and chaplains who work in children's hospitals and who do it for 20 or 30 years in the way that the people I worked with often did, and I really admired the hell out of them, but I knew I could never be them. So anyway, after I had finished that process, there was I disagree, because one size fits all. He doesn't foul people, so that's not even possible. Ah, boy. I got to clear it more often. So I was just coming off of this experience as a chaplain, and it was really devastating to me personally, and then also professionally, in my sense of like what I wanted to do with my life, because I had lost all confidence that I would make a good minister on a bunch of different levels. I just didn't feel like I was going to be good at it. I wasn't a particularly good chaplain, to be honest with you. I was. I found it very stressful and like really difficult, and. Why are you calling fouls on one size fits all when we all know that he doesn't foul people? That's one of his rules. Ridiculous. But I was still planning to move to Chicago, and this was in Ohio. I was living in Ohio at the time. This was right after I graduated from college, and I'd committed to moving to Chicago with some friends of mine, and they were counting on me for rent and everything, and I didn't want to disappoint them. But I was really starting to feel like I definitely did not want to go to divinity school, and I remember like talking to my priest about this, and in the Episcopal Church, by the way, we have priests, but they can marry and stuff, and they can be ladies, and they can be gay, and they can be all the things that that humans are. And so anyway, I had a long talk with him, and he was like, I think, that doesn't count. It's not going to count. It's not going to count. He was offsides. Don't worry. Whew. Boy, the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers are having some trouble here against Nottingham Forest. Yes, we are definitely experiencing. We are definitely not winning this game. Fat Lucas, I need you. Thank you, Fat Lucas. Oh, why don't I clear the ball, guys? It's because I really only know how to press two buttons. Um, so for a long time, I still. Oh, that's the end of the first half. For a long time after that, I still thought I might go back and do the whole process. I mean, the process. In some ways, I'd done some of the hardest parts of getting ordained, but I hadn't done a lot of the hardest parts. I mean, the hardest part is definitely like getting your degree, which is a 3-year process, and you've got to learn like Greek, which I wasn't cut out for. I mean, honestly, one of the big reasons I didn't end up going to divinity school was that I really did not want to try to learn Greek. I just knew myself well enough to know that that wasn't going to go well. So, hold on. Oh, the John Greens. Hug, hug, hug. Oh, that's awkward. Yikes. Beautiful stuff. Look at the finishing. Oh, oh, good gracious. That's just one husband passing to another husband who puts the ball in the goal, and then they embrace. That's what the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers are all about. We're all about family and love and loyalty and scoring goals. By the way, I hit Y in that series, so I want to thank you guys for telling me to hit Y. It's a very useful button. Fat Lucas. Undefatigable. So, or wait, indefatigable. Anyway, and, I mean, I think, like, most of the stuff that you do counts for 10 years, as I recall. And so I always had it in the back of my mind that I could defer my admission, for 10 years, and I could go back at some point if I wanted to. But I think that I kind of felt like I was getting further and further away from going back over the years. I mean, the first 2 or 3 years, I really thought seriously about going and trying to get my MDiv, and then, to be honest, like I can't see myself, and I couldn't even really see myself then, like being the pastor of a church, just because I don't think that I'd be very good at it, and also it's extremely hard. Like you're always working, you never get a break, and I like breaks, although admittedly, like being the pastor of Nerdfighteria doesn't lead to many breaks either. But, like, at least you guys don't call me in the middle of the night and tell me that you're in the hospital and I got to get up and come visit you. I mean, I do have to make a video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but that's a lot easier. Yeah, I prefer this job on the whole. Plus, I get to play FIFA for a living. What do you do? Well, I'm a FIFA player. Are you any good? No, I'm terrible. Oh, man. I just am learning how to hit the Y button, if that gives you a sense of my quality. So, in the end, I chose not to do it, and now my 10 years is up. So last year was the last year that all the stuff that I did could have been useful to me as a chaplain. But I have to say, all that stuff that I did has been incredibly useful to me as a person in terms of thinking about how we care for other people. Not just, I mean, like, all the theological stuff aside, because I actually don't think that the theological questions of Christianity or atheism or theism or whatever are ultimately very interesting. But all that stuff aside, what is really interesting to me is the opportunity to care for people and to think about how best to care for people, like how to most respectfully care for people. Sorry, I should have passed it there. And what helps and what doesn't, and what questions to ask and what questions what questions are the right questions and what questions are the wrong questions. That stuff has been that stuff that I learned through that process, not only working as a chaplain, but also just through the process of discernment, of figuring out whether this would be a good job for me. All that stuff has been hugely helpful. Bald John Green with a beautiful goal, and they celebrate. It's French the Lana passing to Bald John Green with the Y button, and then a great finish. Great stuff. We're up 2-0 over Nottingham Forest. Everything is beautiful and nothing hurts. So, I mean, I do think, and I think it was helpful to me as a writer too, because I think, one of the weird things that you have to have when you write stories is you have to be able to empathize. In fact, I think like empathy is sort of the central character trait of the writer, along with like a weird mix of egotism and insecurity. I think that you have to be able to think about what it's like to be your characters respectfully and really, really convincingly. Like, you have to be able to convincingly be someone else so that when people read your story, they feel like it's real, and they can sit there inside of the story and not feel like it's distractingly obvious that this is made up. And that is something, I think that sense of empathy was not like born into me, but is something that was like that I got almost like training. And a huge part of that training was definitely one size fits all, running down the field, one size fits all, unstoppable force. Oh my gosh, it's like a 110-yard run, and now he's going to go into the middle. Oh, one size fits all, finally dispossessed. Oh, but it's a penalty. Look at that, one size fits all, bringing the rain. Wow, Earnshaw just appeared out of nowhere. It's distressing. Are there ghosts in this game? All right, big moment for the boys. It's Bald John Green. Let's take it easy. Not my best work. Oh, devastating. Bald John Green can't get it on goal. I hate penalties in this game. Oh, Bald John Green? No, it's not going to be. So to me, like that's the real takeaway. And the goals were, of course, from John Green. 2-0, Nottingham Forest. Great game. One size fits all with a beautiful run at the end to draw a penalty, which Bald John Green cannot finish. But handshakes all around. Great stuff in the rain from the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers. Thank you for watching. You will hear me next time. I don't remember the outro. Anyway, best wishes.